because they listened intently to the sermon every week and had small quibbles, and they discussed their quibbles over lunch right after church. And so I listened to them hear the word of God from the man of God, and not just kind of let it wash over them like everything he said was true, but they tested the spirits, and sometimes they definitely fell into probably like gossiping or judging. I'm sure, like, of course, they made mistakes and went too far, and there are they have personality foibles that can get carried away. But like all that to say, that was where the kind of perhaps skepticism, healthy or not, was inculcated for me. But obviously, you can see how that would be wrapped up in issues of authority,
Yes.
which I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, does that get back to the kind of, is that why the unconditional trust is connected to the unconditional respect in some weird way? That kind of authority structure. I did real when I was a young man, I kind of thought that like all truth was based on authority, because you had to, in order for trust to be, or forever, in order for you to hear something and trust it, you had to trust the person that was giving it to you. And the best way to trust somebody is for them to be an authority over you, because they're kind of, you're entrusted to them, on a little play on words, you're entrusted to them, so you trust them. But yeah, now I give a little bit more agency to the individual, and a little bit more variety to the human population about how they, behave in those types of relationships. But I think the truth still, like, I think that there's still a nugget in there that might be helpful for your problem, Af, which is to say, I don't think you teach a healthy skepticism with someone, like with something that's like not on the same level of importance or truth or reality. Like you teach that healthy skepticism with like the most important things in life, which are, for my family in that context was, the word of God given by the man of God on Sunday. So, yeah.
Howdy, everybody. Afriel here. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. And I totally forgot what I titled the episode. So give me one moment to pull that back up. I totally wasn't trying to generate a flyer template because I remembered like 15 minutes before going live that I had not done that yet. So, we like to be professional here. That's right. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about how you should be wary of non-generative systems. And this is one that's been kind of buzzing in my head for a while. Because when I was younger, my dad is a huge Ayn Rand fan, and so I read some Ayn Rand books, and objectivism seems... that's not coming in through, is it? Game capture? Why do you not want to work OBS? Sometimes it takes it a second, but it's not working right now. Let's try and quit out and load back in and see if it works then. And it wasn't until much later that I started thinking along certain lines and realizing that, there we go. One of the main critiques that Bioshock brings to objectivism is this notion that there's no kids. There's no kids in an objectivist utopia. There's no kids talked about in any of Ayn Rand's books that I'm aware of. And so you get this situation where it's like, okay. Also, let me know if I'm like not live or you can't hear me, and please no troll. Please no troll. Actually, I can check that myself, can't I? Can't trust any of y'all. An error occurred. Let's see. Okay, we are good. We're good until somebody tells me we're not.
You're coming up to another control room. Looks like it's still occupied.
There we go. Bunch more soldiers headed my way. Oh, fun. Where are the combine turrets? I would love combine turrets to use for myself. But yeah, there's, and it's not just objectivism by any means. That seems like a good enough spot. Just get both of these covering doorways in a way that should be difficult to take them out. Okay. So it's not just objectivism. I'm not meaning to like pick on them exclusively. It's more that there seems to be a lot of sort of sterile philosophies that exist out there. Like there was oh shoot, I should research this more before we start talking about it. One certain Christian sects that reject sex to the point where they don't even procreate, and so the only way that that sect of Christianity is able to further itself is by having converts come into it. But beyond that, like they don't have any capacity to have children within their philosophical system. And this broadly extends to other anti-natalist perspectives and other anti-natalist I'm like having to do no work. This is awesome. But yeah, if you have like any broadly anti-natalist philosophy, ends up killing itself because without converts, it literally cannot sustain itself. Okay, now I gotta go back to work. Possibly. Or I can just reset the turret. These man hacks are annoying though. Come on. Down you go. Generative as in generations, generative as in having kids, generative as in creating resources. Like if you have something, if you have a if you have a group that takes in more resources than it produces, then over time it's just going to run out. Um, like if you have, say, you have farmland, that the farmland is, I probably should not step in front of the turrets. Let them do their job. They seem to be doing it very effectively.
Be there in a second, Gordon.
So if you're taking resources and nutrients, oh, hey Alex,
Glad to see you're okay. Let's see if we can find Mossman. It looks like this station.
like if you only have a certain amount of magnesium in your soil and you are growing things that are absorbing that magnesium, and then that magnesium is then being sold in those crops, and then you're not doing anything to bring it back in. Oh, I'm not in any danger of dying right now.
I'm not calling you that. What's she up to? You promised you weren't going to touch you now. Oh my god.
What's she up to?
Bit overzealous, I admit, but he was too tempting a prize to simply turn loose, especially in the absence of Gordon Freeman.
You would have had Freeman if you'd been patient and just waited for my signal.
And yeah, I think that the most like immediate example for that is maybe not even necessarily anti-natalist, but like
As I have stated before,
groups of people who
Eli come around on his
are so ambivalent towards having kids or not that they just don't have them. Either they either are below replacement rate or they have no kids because that would impinge on their quality of life in whatever way that they understand it to be. Um, like that, any philosophy that's like that is going to self-terminate or has to be parasitic on some other society that is generative, whether that's in terms of resources or whether that's in terms of human capital. Like if you don't have babies being born within a particular system, then either they have that you have to get the babies from somewhere else, or wait till they're adults and then get them from somewhere else, or you're just gonna die out. And so that's kind of what I'm getting at with like, be wary of non-generative systems because they by necessity have to be parasitic. They by necessity have to engage in that sort of way. Yeah. I think I'm gonna set these up in the hallway just for funsies. And then since I'm gonna be getting out into the rest of this, like the movie A Boy and His Dog. Don't know if I'm familiar with that one. Alright. Got our turret set up. Hop it into Discord. If you want to join me, Ron, you're welcome to. Or Skank or Risen. And then make sure I keep this over here so I can see who and when comes in. And we should be good. A Boy and His Dog. I don't know if I have seen that one. Also, this is what I was going for with the thumbnail. It's like, howdy, Mr. Ron.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Was that? Oh, let me stream to Discord too. Come on, Discord. You can do it. There we go.
All right. Are we there?
Yep.
All right. So, A Boy and His Dog is a late 70s, early 80s apocalyptic vision of the future
Mhm.
with an actor named Don Johnson, who is like the Mad Max, but he only has a dog. And he gets kidnapped by a society that can't have kids.
Mhm.
Everyone there's a high, it's either sterility or they just have the gene pool's way too shallow.
Mhm.
And yeah, so they kidnap him to uh, increase the gene pool, and he has to escape. But it's kind of goes, they were collapsing,
Mhm.
and it goes to what you were saying about the one societies that didn't have sex because they didn't philosophically agree with it or something like that.
Mhm.
Like there was actually one society that was, they were all like hermits or something like that, and it was one of those Celtic islands where, somewhere out in Ireland, England area.
Mhm.
I mean, I can look, but anyhow, it didn't last.
Well, it can't,
Yeah.
and
So
it's.
what's on your mind? Oh, I'm sorry.
Mhm. Well, I was just gonna say like that you have to be wary as an individual because there's plenty of times where that sort of stuff will be enticing sounding of like, oh, like I should go be a hermit with them, like it's a great thing to do, but the reality is that you're just throwing your life away with a bunch of other delusional people who don't realize that their way of life is just not that it's not sustainable on an individual basis, but that it can't perpetuate itself.
Can I throw a curveball at you, or maybe not a curveball, but actually just agree with you?
Mhm.
Um, God, this is going to sound so weird. It actually is against God
Mhm.
to not be.
Be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, and it's not like because God likes life. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
I like you guys. Go fill the place up.
Mm-hmm.
So why has this been, or how has this and why has this been on your mind?
I mean, it's not that I'm like running out of topics, but I definitely like this was just something that has been on my mind for quite some time, and it just was like, oh yeah, I should talk about this because it's something that
All
like I
right.
see the pattern of it manifesting in so many times in so many ways, and it's like, oh, like people don't seem to be aware of this as a thing in a lot of cases. That this like it's something related to Grizz's enmity for the womb as a marker kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking that.
Yep. Where it's like, hey, if you see a group of people and there are no children, be concerned. Like they might just be a Ponzi scheme that's evaporating all the wealth of all the people who are joining them and don't have any real plans or intent for longevity. So,
And they have too much Kool-Aid hanging around, and it makes me nervous.
and part of that too is
So,
like I don't have any kids and you don't have any kids. So, hey, folks at home, be a little cautious of listening to anything that we have to say because we might not know
no,
what
no,
we're talking about.
I'm saying get married and get someone knocked up and go be
Ah,
happy.
there's one, a very stupid one.
Oh, did you die?
I died. I died of
Oh, I
electrocution.
missed it.
It was pathetic.
Well, really? Oh, and I missed it. Dang,
Mm.
now
I'll stay on the death screen a little longer next time.
I appreciate it. It's the little things in life.
The
So,
little
all
deaths.
right, I got one.
Mhm.
So this actually agrees with your thesis quite a bit.
Mhm.
So, I meet God in a major uh, Shazam lightning bolt moment, and I was a Buddhist, and I was about reincarnation and
Mhm.
for abortion.
Mhm.
And when I met his spirit, one of the things he healed me from, because I really was about abortion and reincarnation, and then
Mhm.
the spirit of life came to me, and it was so. It was just an attribute of him, but I don't want to say just. It was one of his attributes. He allowed me to feel,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he gives life, and he'll take it when he wants." But he really likes life.
Mm-hmm.
And it
It sounds
doesn't do it
corny
justice.
almost.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like, hey, Mikey, I like you. Like, hey, it's all you like.
Mm-hmm.
But so the thing is with that comes kids,
Mm-hmm.
and kids and family is good, and it's yeah, and I think I wonder, I think it's innate in people whether you're a quote unquote atheist or any other religion,
Mm-hmm.
because if you notice around the world all the grandparents or old people like babies.
Mm-hmm.
And even around the world, unless you're a real schmuck, yeah, I mean, everyone. And if you look at the Chinese people, some of the things I admire about their culture,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like if you bring a baby into the group, they fawn over the child,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that's pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a reflection
Mm-hmm.
of innate human nature to have a system. Well, we are made in the system of God, in the image of God,
Mm-hmm.
and God is regenerative or generative, I think. Yeah, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that's against it, which I'm not going to mention any names, communism.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Is I think I just found out that they were the ones who were cool with abortion in the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that makes, and it was presented like, well, they think that life is just a piece of, not a baby is just a piece of tissue that is, if you don't need it or you want it in the way, you don't want it in the way of your life,
Mm-hmm.
remove that little piece of tissue. So,
Mm-hmm. It's a parasite, like those
yeah,
communists or those capitalists, those dirty, dirty capitalist parasites.
right. So if you want to get rid of parasites, just don't, yeah, get rid of pregnancy.
Well, I mean, that's
So,
I don't say that because I agree with it or believe it, but that is kind of the rhetoric or the messaging that gets put out a lot of times is like, oh, you're not actually killing a human, you're just removing something that's functionally a parasite.
oh, dude, that is so evil.
Mm-hmm. It
That
really is.
is, um, like, I, I think like I have example like at my church, like I know these people. They had now these kids wound up to be two of the kids wound up to be the largest kids on the football team.
Mm-hmm.
When they were born, guess how much they weighed?
Uh, 5 pounds, something really small.
Keep going.
4,
Keep going.
3,
Keep going.
2,
A little bit more.
2.5.
No, lower.
Oh, 1. They were a pound.
Yeah. 1 point I think it was 1.5 or 1.8.
Were they
And that was
premature?
at
Was that?
yeah, very.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
they were twins, and yeah, I forget. So, and they were in the ICU for a good long time. But to make a long story short, they pulled through, and then they grew up to be like, I don't know, 6'1" or something like that, 6'2",
Just
two
absolute units.
something. Yeah, just beasts. And that's and I've seen like between modern medicine and prayer, I'm like, dude, we can do this. We can help you through we can help children through a very rough time, and it's worth it. So,
Hmm.
so it's not the size of the tissue that is growing; it's the spirit of the tissue uh, and body.
Well, and the spirits that are working with it too.
Well, what do you mean? I like it. Say more. The spirits that are
Give me
working.
1 second to get things set up
Are you done?
first.
Oh wait,
I'm trying
are you
not to
done?
die.
Oh wait, no, I'm watching now.
Hmm.
All right, what are you trying not to die from?
grenades, other fun things. There we go. Okay, now I can talk. So, what did I say that you wanted me to say more of?
Oh, other spirits that help you that were helping
Oh,
in the
like
process.
your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, like all
Oh,
of the
yeah, yeah,
other
yeah.
people in your life that want to see you succeed.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, totally.
I should probably get out a
Wow,
gun and shoot this guy, huh?
that's kind of bloody. See, this is a video game that to me, like, not that I play, but this is a video game, not that Aqua,
The
Scuba,
Subnautica.
Seaweed. You know, that was like a California game. Like, I'm sorry, like that's just so like non-aggressive.
Wah.
Yeah.
I like my Minecraft. You can't take it away from me.
Uh, Now, what was the other one? Because it's on your intro with it's kind of cool though. It's good art. It's where it's a bug
Hollow Knight.
that what is Hollow Knight?
Yep.
Okay. I do like that one.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. I started playing Silksong. I haven't gotten too far with it yet, though. That's a grenade. Come on, come on. Get back up. Get back up. Oh, God.
So
back up.
if Neil what now what are those things? Are those good guys or bad guys?
These are turrets, so they can be either. But right now they're good guys because they're shooting for me.
All right. Well, that's gross, seeing all that blood.
Get out of
I
here.
don't think war zones are that bloody, are they?
Damn it. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're busy. You're working. So, I was gonna say war zones aren't that bloody, are they? I mean, there's
Oh,
blood all over.
I mean, depending on where we're talking and who we're talking about and what we're talking about. Oh gosh, that was. Oh, I should use
Oh,
my
you got
shotgun, huh? That would help. All right, let's try it again.
Get these set up. Soldiers in all directions.
Let's try that again. Yeah, I think that you get, in the best situations, you have people around you that love you. You have people who want to take care of you, that want to see you succeed. Yeah.
What
Let's-
is a non-generative system that is operating within the world that you can, that's worth mentioning if there are any, or physical or spiritual.
Well, at risk of being a little controversial,
Yeah.
if you have immigrant communities that are dependent on fraudulently engaging with benefit systems,
Like daycare?
like daycares,
Right.
that's not sustainable long term. And
No, I
I don't
get
think
it.
that they necessarily care or that they're thinking about that when they're doing that, but
Right.
eventually something's going to give.
Right. Okay. Well, didn't that happen in Rome? Like everyone got on the dole?
I mean, that's happened many times throughout history. I mean, that's the whole concept of bread and circuses. If you give enough of a dole, then you won't have rebellions.
Right.
So
What is that? Communism, like full stomachs make bad revolutionaries?
yep.
So, it's one of those, it's kind of a quip that, that kind of works. If you're not hungry, you don't complain.
Mhm.
If you're just not hungry enough.
Mhm.
Um,
So we want to
are,
make sure that you're just a little starving. That way, you're an excellent
Right.
revolutionary. Just a little
Yeah.
starvation,
Yeah.
not too much.
are video games non-generative?
Ooh. In my opinion, they can be generative, but then they also have the capacity to be abused in the same way that any other drug or gambling or what have you. Like, there's a potential for abuse there, but I think that when engaged with proper, like, I mean, you can read too many books, or you can like read books to the point where you are not engaging with the things that you're supposed to be engaging with in reality, right? Like, it's
Okay.
I don't I don't see video games as uniquely um, deleterious to the human condition, to be pretentious, because I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Another way of
No,
phrasing
no,
it.
because when you defended it pretty good because I was just thinking about kids in the basement
Hmm.
playing video games, not living life. Because
Hmm.
actually, I know people that have been that way,
Hmm.
and because before video games, they were reading all the time and not doing anything,
Hmm.
and then so it was really something in their nature, just
Hmm.
something in their nature isn't developed well,
Yep. I mean,
and it'll
Marx didn't need video games to be a piece of shit in his time, so you know.
I wonder what was his wait. Oh God, okay. So we're gonna go Marx for a
Mhm.
second. I am
And by the way,
Jewish, so I'm a
not
little
talking at all about
yeah.
his philosophy, just talking about his personal life. Like, we can
Oh,
talk about his
really?
philosophy too, if somebody wants to come on and talk about that. But like, just in terms of his personal life, he was a deadbeat. He was abusive to the people who took care of him. Like, he was not, like, if you read through a lot of the stuff about him, he was not a good person. That's what I'm talking about with that comment.
He's a schmuck. I and I'm just golly. This is. It seems like you're either gonna get okay because I'm speaking about my people, not
Hmm.
anyone else. Anyone else has a right to judge this. Just me.
Hmm.
Uh, you're either gonna get Larry, Curly, and Moe,
Hmm.
Mr. Spock or Captain Kirk, Karl Marx or Einstein.
Hmm.
It just seems like we swing the pendulum hard.
Hmm.
And I think he was, all right, so I'll just go spiritually. I think what I've seen of anyone who goes hollow, he was an atheist. He had a really good vacuum in his mind and his heart. That's why you abuse people
Hmm.
because you're not feeling you're abusive to yourself
Hmm.
and actually maybe even towards God.
Yep.
And if you hate God with your heart, mind, soul, and strength and think he doesn't exist, then your neighbor as yourself.
Hmm.
And there you go, Karl Marx and everything that he. And then you produce, and actually, it's interesting. It's not so much. I wonder. He did produce a philosophy
Hmm.
that actually seems, I think, as a theology. It's just anti.
Yeah,
What
I
is
never
that?
thought of it that way, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I think of it as a religion, not as It's just it's the perfect unreligion.
Hmm.
If it's if if you're Satan, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Because you don't want to out yourself in the game. Like,
I mean,
hi, I
it's
hate God.
less productive to do that, at least.
Yeah, I mean, so you you shout into the void um, instead of getting solace from it, which actually it's not a void. The darkness or the unknown rather is not it's not void, but I don't know. I'm not describing
I think Void's
what
probably
I've
pretty
experienced.
accurate.
Okay. I don't want to get too well. Okay, if you think if it's holding water, okay, fine.
Hmm.
I think the unknown is when it's properly applied in a person's life is like hunger to a child. it draws you towards something good, which is food.
Mm-hmm.
And the craving of the empty craving of the heart can be fulfilled through God.
Mm-hmm.
And the true, the beautiful, and the good.
Yep.
And if it's not, if it's been told hopeless, there is nothing there to satiate it, and it becomes like, oh, hope deferred, dude. It breaks the heart, and that'll make you go hollow.
Yep.
Well, actually, that not go hollow. Yeah, okay. So you're choosing not fulfillment, and the only person that is not fulfillment is the accuser. So,
I
and I
don't think
even
it's
wish I
just a
had.
single person that involves non-fulfillment though. Like it's or a
Okay,
single
well,
entity. I think that there's lots of like Lucifer is like the pinnacle of that, but that there's a reason that
okay,
there's described a whole hierarchy of demonic entities.
okay. So you have like a middle management
Yep.
hierarchy going down. All
Like
right,
if
well, you know what? Yeah, sure. What are you thinking?
well, if we're tempting towards annihilation, then there's lots of ways to tempt towards that. Like I could make somebody greedy. I could make them want to just get more and more and more money, right? I could make
Oh,
someone lustful. I could make them want to engage in fruitless relationships with people that damage both themselves and everyone else that they are engaging with. I could make them gluttonous. I could make them overeat to the point where they are unable to care for themselves or even be cared for by other people effectively. Uh,
right.
and on and so forth. Like, there's ways that things can break that like of how to exploit the sort of animal nature and animal tendencies of humanity in order to make them into the miserable servants of whatever it is that's trying to bring everything back to annihilation, to the void.
Hmm, okay. Yeah. All right. Um, no, I agree with that. I think it's all right. I actually have a story for you that
Go
you
for it.
might like. All right. So before, when I was straight heathen, and I was a good pagan heathen, and anytime there was a girl that I was kind of living with at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was bad, and I used to smoke a lot, cigarettes and whatnot, and I would actually get a sweet taste on my tongue, a light one, and so would she. And we're like, what kind of weirdness is this going on? Like, and so, and I'm being vague, but basically, we were not married. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
And
Living in
like,
sin. How could you, Ron?
yeah, boy, because it was fun and I was a heathen and that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we smoked. But when we were bad,
And not tobacco.
no, actually, it was tobacco.
Oh, it was
It
okay.
was Marlboro. Yeah,
Marlboro Reds.
the weed. Yeah. So, okay. So there was a spiritual condition in which I actually was being rewarded for good, for being bad with her, and when, and then it became, I feel so weird talking about this because it's not to exalt Satan, but just to let you know what he does. It was a mild temptation because it was positive reinforcement
Mm-hmm.
for a bad act.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was it positive reinforcement, but it was a negative treat, cigarette. It
Mm-hmm.
made the cigarette that much more enjoyable. And then when I break up with her and I'm left, I smoked before I knew her, but afterwards I smoked even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 10 years later, I can't stop smoking. The sweet taste is gone. My lungs aren't working well. And I'm addicted and a burnout. When I meet Jesus, before I get lit up by encountering him spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
he gave me a mild uh, foreshadowing
Mm-hmm.
of his presence. I get prayer for, I just go, I'm at a church and everyone's going up for prayer. I go up, I'm like, hey, I'm trying this Christianity thing out. There's been no major events in my life. Let me go see what this stuff's all about. I go up for prayer. Nothing happens. 3 steps away from the altar where somebody had prayed for me, I get a sweet taste on my tongue
Mm-hmm.
and like a drop of wine. Now it was similar to the sweet taste I got with the cigarette, except it was much stronger, much cleaner, and it tastes like grape wine. And
Mm-hmm.
I go home and I'm kind of debriefing with all my friends because we're all going to church together at the same time. I pick up a cigarette, I take a hit of it, and the sweet taste goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, oh my gosh, I broke it. Whatever this encounter was, and I'm bummed out. It then about a minute passes and I'm not smoking too much. It creeps back in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wait a second, it's back.
Mm-hmm.
I I take another hit of the cigarette and it's gone. And I'm like, oh man, I had it, and I fumbled the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and then the few minutes later, it creeps back. I take the hit of cigarette one last time, and I'm really doing this with trepidation. I'm like, man, I don't even know how to talk to God. I'm just like, I like this, but I don't want to mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
I take the hit of the cigarette, it goes away again. And then I just really tensely wait or tentatively wait. It creeps back, and I'm like, wait a second, it's not splitting.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens in a matter of 2 weeks' time, now I've been smoking for 10 years, 2.5 packs of Marlboro Reds for 10 years, maybe
Mm-hmm.
11. Couldn't stop. And I was really addicted. In 2 weeks' time, because of the pleasant experience of the taste on my tongue I was getting when I was not smoking, the intervals between the hits I would take off the cigarette got farther and farther apart. So that in 2 weeks' time, I went from 2.5 packs a day down to 4 cigarettes.
Dang.
And yeah, well, and this is the cool part. I'm in the kitchen one day. I just kind of look up in the sky. I'm like, listen, I'm like, I don't know how to talk to God or crap. Just like, hey, I've been smoking a long time. This is going to be weird, but I'm going to put these things down and I'm just going to have you walk with me through this.
Mm-hmm.
It's been over 25 years. I've never had a cigarette since, and I don't even crave it. That is a generative system. In that time, my mind has been healed by, the same spirit that gave me the sweet taste on the tongue. It was actually love in the heart that made me not nervous when I'd forget because I was a burnout.
My God.
Uh, And yeah, it was pretty bad. I'd
Mm-hmm.
had short-term memory pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is that over time, like physical
Why you let us
therapy,
out?
the love sustained me so that when I would forget a thought, I wouldn't get nervous and self-condemning. I would just kind of like a nightlight, the love in the heart would be comforting, and then the thoughts would come back. And instead of being like remembering a thought minutes apart, like, oh, I forgot what I was talking about, and then I'd catch it back a few minutes in between spaces. It would went down to seconds, and then from seconds to, you know, a second, and then at a certain point, I was able to have long trains of thought and remember them, and it's and that spirit has not left me.
Mm-hmm.
Time. And so we're talking about,
But what about my
I always bring things back to, like when talking about Marx, he's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It,
got to
what
get
are you
this
thinking?
father out?
I was just gonna say howdy slasher real quick.
Oh,
Um,
sorry.
yep. But yeah.
I see dashing there.
Yes.
Right.
Mr. Dashing Slasher.
So I went on for quite a while about the story because it kind of triggered me in a good way when you're talking about when you have a society that isn't very, when you don't have kids,
Mhm.
when you're not seeing something productive. And it's interesting how you put it, even if it's a video game or a book, it can be abused and become a non-generative system. And I don't know, I think, okay, I think the virtual space that is here
Mm-hmm.
is very generative.
Mm-hmm. I will
And
say that
if
it's you have to be careful with it because there's a distinct possibility that like the way that so many things are constructed in this virtual space are such that they are deliberately addictive. They're deliberately trying to bring you in and not let you go.
really,
And well, I mean that's
hmm
I I mean I could talk about why I think that, but I think that's obvious enough
yeah,
for the
why
most
not?
part that it's like you can just kind of leave it alone. So like
Well,
YouTube's
here's the thing.
optimizing their algorithm for watch time kind of thing.
Oh, well,
Oh,
yeah.
fudge.
Did you die?
No, I'm just gonna have to deal with some nonsense. Or maybe my dog will help. Okay. Well, that isn't gonna make this much easier.
Is that? Where's this at?
Uh, some unnamed city, presumably in the United States, but maybe not.
I don't know. Looks kind of.
It's in the future, like far, far future.
Yeah. All
There's a
right.
giant space elevator tower.
Oh,
I'm
really?
not actually sure what that's supposed to be, but yeah.
All right.
Just, you know, dystopian hellscape.
Right. So what got me on my rant about? Because I know there was something you said that I wanted to build off of.
What we were talking about. Let's see. Um, well, jumping back a little bit in the conversation. Hello. That almost stomped me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Sheets. Because earlier we were talking about how. Oh, that's right. Like the algorithms are designed to capture your attention and to not let it go. And so, like,
Mhm.
even when you're trying to defeat YouTube by YouTube, you have to be mindful that that's what you're up against. That you're deliberately trying to change. I think that was a G-Man thing. You're deliberately trying to change the way that YouTube is working, uh, using its own algorithms, but you are trying to change the way that it is working. It is designed to try and capture your attention and hold it tight so that you can't escape and that others can't escape, and that by participating in it, you may very well be helping to further those goals and aims.
That's actually a spell.
Hmm?
That's yeah, I could see that. So the thing that would break that, I think, doing stuff like this,
Hmm?
the community, and then meeting face to face.
Hmm?
Maybe face to face is. It's curious. It's difficult because everyone lives so far away
Yes.
from each other. That's
Well,
part.
and I think that that's actually part. Like, and I mentioned this on last week's stream too. Yeah, sorry, Slasher. There's nothing much I could do for you on the 25-second delay. I think that the thing that is actually potent about TLC is the fact that we're not an in-person community.
Mhm.
I think that the thing that will actually make it work is like coming together in a decentralized fashion, figuring things out together, and then going back out to our own individual communities in order to like try and make things happen based off of what we learn in more limited contexts on the internet.
Okay, so we are apostles learning something so that we can be an evangelist
Mhm.
to some, you know,
And not even
or
ones that
maybe
are
not.
trying to like bring people into our particular fold either. Like it's not like oh you don't have to be a part of TLC or part of Estuary in order to I think like receive the benefits of somebody who has those experiences then sharing them with you.
Hmm. It's Martin Shaw who I do like. It's
Mhm.
I think he called it noblesse oblige.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a different maybe a related concept to that. Because noblesse
Okay.
oblige is specifically this idea of like the nobility have an obligation to the peasantry over which they rule to make their lives better and to try and like do good things for them and with them.
You say they have no
No, that
obligation?
they do have an obligation,
Oh, okay, okay.
and that's what like it's the that's what noblesse oblige translates to is like the obligation of the nobility. Oh, dang it.
Okay. So we don't have that obligation, and
No,
I'm
we
not
do.
pushing it.
What I'm saying is
Okay.
that I don't think that what TLC has is like a one-to-one correlation with noblesse oblige because we're not nobility in that same way. But I also I think that that's a very useful parallel concept. That even if we are not directly nobility in that sense, we're not obliged to a group of people that we're ruling over. That there's still some there's it, it's the same pattern in my mind.
Mhm. I, I think that's okay, because that almost reminds me of when you meet God,
Mm-hmm.
you become better. Because when you see him, you're called to a higher place, a higher level, a higher understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go live it
Mm-hmm.
and share it. So that would be the noblesse oblige. I can't say that right.
No, you're saying
But
it right.
okay. Yeah. So I think that to me is yeah, I like that. It, to me is it because even if you are a peasant, quote unquote, like sociologically, but you know God,
Mm-hmm.
or you've encountered something that brings you higher, then even in your station, you live in a noble way. And there's, I don't know, I think it's interesting because actually, then you're really not a peasant. You might have a station of something, but in actuality, your heart is of another level.
Yes,
Uh, okay.
and it's not to say that like you should believe that in like a like you're not coming at that from a position of how um, some sort of like oh I'm better than you and that's why I should
Right.
be able to tell you what to do. It's more of like a
Right.
hey I've seen some stuff and I know some things that I think might be helpful for you.
Hmm.
And if the
Right.
other person's willing to listen, then there's sort of
Yeah.
this sense of obligation that you should communicate with them and you should tell them the things that you've learned, because like, gosh, there's got to be
Right.
some sort of oblige that you can do with that, but like there's some sort of obligation that you have to, if somebody comes to you and you have some information that would help them to solve their problems, that you can that you have an obligation to share that with them if you are one of the good guys.
Right. Yeah. Because that's actually good news.
Mhm.
Like, hey, you're not up the correct.
Like, and that's because this is something that I've, and this is going to get weird and esoteric here in a second, but there, you don't just have veiling for negative reasons. Like, you don't, if there's reasons for the good guys to conceal their intentions or to conceal their nature, and it's not always a bad guy strategy to withhold information. There's some things that it's kind of like God's glory is so great that if he did not veil himself, then he would blind any who gazed upon him, kind of a thing. Oh gosh darn it. So in that sense, like, there's going to be situations where if you are one of the good guys, like, you're not going to be able to just like say, hey, like, here's the whole story all at once. Like, you can't, and part of that's just, you can't tell a whole story all at once, right? You have to, like, a story has to be told through time, like less time than it took for the story to be created, because the story was like, you can tell in hours what happened in years, but you still have to take those hours in order to tell the story. Like, you can't just instantly communicate everything that needs to be known to a person, like mind transfer. Like, that's not how it works. And even if you could do that, I don't think that like, there would be some negative effect from trying to communicate information in that way. Like, there's some sense that you have to take the time to actually go through the story.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's funny. There's something that might preach to this or speak to what you're saying is, I forget who said it. It said, preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary,
Use words. Yep.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Yeah, one of the favorite people that I got the opportunity to serve with in the Army, that was one of his favorite go-tos.
Oh, really? All right. Decent person?
Very good person.
All right, nice. I see Free Brilliant is in the office.
Oh, is he? I need to switch from top chat to live chat. I keep forgetting to do things.
Wait, what?
Is he? Oh, in Discord. Okay. Yeah. Howdy, Brilliant.
Hey guys, just popping in. Had a long day. Kids just went down. I'm actually playing a game of Catan on my computer, so nice. I thought I'd hop in here and just listen to you guys.
Very nice.
Catan?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like a board game.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But I can't get anyone. Yeah, I can't get anyone in my family to play with me, so you know, I have succumbed to playing digitally every now and again.
Did you play with them once and then you beat the pants off of them and now nobody wants to play with you again because you're a big fat meanie?
Kind of, and then the learning curve, the learning curve for them just wasn't worth the juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think.
Huh, I'm looking at it right now. Is it like Go, or is it a lot more complicated?
Uh, I would say it is more like there's more stuff involved with it than Go, but the level of complexity is probably equivalent or maybe a little less.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
your
not
thoughts?
familiar, so I couldn't compare.
Okay. Is it an Asian game origin?
Mm-mm. It,
I think,
Oh,
I think German.
really? Okay.
it's a
Yeah,
pretty
it's definitely
popular. Mm,
yeah, it's definitely European coded. I
mhm.
played like Asian tabletops, which are actually kind of a blast. Um, and this is definitely not that.
Hmm, okay. And I just found a video, how to win Catan every time. Right next to the video, how to beat Bobby Fischer.
Well, that's actually something I'm pretty stoked for. Mrs. Pilotson has been doing. Well, apparently Duolingo has branched out, and so now they also have like chess lessons as part of their thing. And so she's been learning how to play chess through Duolingo because that's an easier way to learn than learning it through husband trying to teach.
Yeah.
So,
If you want bliss, do not teach your wife chess. Okay? Just don't do it. Run away.
no,
Let's
it's
do a
fine.
lingo.
It's fine.
I'm 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 busting your. I'm sorry. I
It's
don't know.
fine.
Might be good for you. Who knows? What is Duolingo?
Uh, Usually people use it for like language stuff. Like I'm learning Japanese on it.
Is Mrs. Pilotson learning Japanese as well?
She was thinking of doing so, but didn't want to commit to trying to learn language. So she was like, "Oh, they have chess. Might as well
Oh,
try and learn how to play that."
okay. I just looked up Duolingo. They have 6,585,000 subscribers. What is this?
They're a pretty good
All
service, I think. They're not perfect by any means, but like
You can learn everything here.
they spoon feed it to you in a way that's kind of nice. Like it's not overwhelming trying to learn a whole language all at once.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Good.
So does Catan have ELO ratings, Rillian?
They do. They do for the, but I mean to really, I haven't explored it too much. They right now it seems like they do it within seasons.
Mhm.
So unless you like dedicate a ton of time, even if
Mhm.
you're world class, I mean, good luck.
Mhm.
But it may have one that expands just for like the user's entire play throughout the whole time on the app. But I'm not sure. But they do have it. I just can't figure out if it's temporary and resets or permanent in other places as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's one of those, because especially if you step away from a game for a little while and then come back to it, it can be pretty easy to lose enough skill that you're not going to be you're not going to be able to put up a good fight for other people.
Yep.
So it's kind of tricky that way. Yeah, League of Legends kind of does the same thing where they do seasons, and then there's also a requirement if you are coming back to the game for the first time in a while that you have to play like 10 placement or 10 normal matches to get your skills back up to par, and then you can start playing ranked again.
Yep. Yeah, and I like to play some of the like more like intersections of the expansions. Which once you get too far into the weeds of that,
Mhm.
they don't have um, they don't have ranked matches for that, but you can play with other people. So if I just want to like sit down and have a good time, uh, and it's not a season in my life where I have a ton of time, I'll mostly just play stuff I want to play, which will be like a big expanded board that doesn't have a ranked match version. So
Okay. That's cool though that they do have like a enough of a variety that you can really mess around with it.
yeah,
I have enjoyed a good game of Catan, but it's not something that I've like devoted a huge amount of time or effort into as far as like getting good at it.
yeah. When I was in my 20s, when I was single, my landlord of all people, who is kind of a friend,
Mhm.
he had like all the expansions, and so there's a few of us who like tabletops, and so we put like all the expansions together and make the victory point margin like insanely high, and just make our own version of the game that was more building than sprinting to the finish.
Mhm.
And so it combined like every possible element that the game has across expansion. So that was a quick learning curve, but I could never pull it off now. If I would have started doing that at this point in my life now, it's just because I was single and in school. I had a bunch of time.
Mhm. That's cool though. The
Yeah.
the only game that I've spent a ton of time with recently has been Dominion, and that's just been because we've been playing it. My workplace does like weekly. The office will buy lunch for everybody, and so we'll sometimes play games together for that. That's been the kind of go-to.
Yeah, I haven't played Dominion in a long time. I did play it for quite a bit during that same period.
Mhm.
And then that also, I think I played on like, I had an iPad for college, and I remember playing it on my iPad whenever people couldn't get out or something like that.
Mhm.
The same people I'd played with in real life, but that was a lot of fun.
Mhm. Yeah, and that one's really interesting too, just from the perspective of trying to like how do you optimize for mid game? Because like you want to create a good enough card engine to like be competitive, but you don't want to focus so much on late game effectiveness that you don't ever buy the stuff to win, because there's a limited amount of
Yes.
time and space to be able to get that done. So
Yep. Yeah, I do remember whenever it might have been adjusted by now, but whenever the one of the bonus, right? Because I think there's certain cards that are constant, and then certain that get added in randomly.
yep.
Yeah, and so when one of the random ones was the extra monetary value, I think it was like a five gold or something like that.
Mhm.
Whenever that was in, all the guys who went all in on cash early ended up just like buying their way to wins. And so,
Mhm.
again, I barely remember details at this point, but I do remember that one. Like these guys were like, the guys I was playing with were like dead serious, probably like somewhere on the spectrum, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like just
Mhm.
like hyper fixated on their interests.
Mhm.
And so, man, they would find wherever the fix was, they would find it quick.
Mhm.
Which made it super challenging. I mean, I had to be on my toes freaking all the time with those guys.
Mhm.
Combine has cut our supply tunnel in two. If you'll join up,
Because if you don't know what the optimal play strategy is, then you're gonna
Yep.
find out real quick from observation.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun being able to play games with folks and like having the learning process be the win condition.
Mm-hmm.
got invited over to play Warhammer 40k one time with some folks. It was okay. Not really my cup of tea, just because, like, if I'm going to be playing something that is that kind of a strategy thing, I'd rather play it on a computer where I can actually, like, do things at an appreciable pace rather than having to count 40 individual die rolls for damage calculations.
Yeah.
But I also think, I don't know, it is pretty cool to actually do tabletop simulations for that kind of stuff, especially, like, having actually been a puckster for military exercises once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
What's a puckster?
So, when you are doing military exercises, when you have, like, models on things, those models tend to be on little pucks, like little piece, like, stand things.
Yeah.
And so the people who are in charge of moving those around are called pucksters.
Oh, like in the movies, like when you see the Germans are coming over to Britain and oh, the big map. You're the guy with the stick moving
Guy with
the
the
pieces
stick.
on the board.
Yep.
All right, that's cool.
Just the way that
Puckster.
that tends to work for modern stuff is that there's a computer program that is what's actually being utilized. So
Right. Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Well, you gamers, I am. On a total random note, I have cleared my house. It is now officially mine.
huzzah!
Thank you. Thank you. The everything from the previous tenant is out, and the key's been returned, and it is now in my name. So I have the right to tell everyone, "Get off my lawn."
Because it's my lawn.
Yes. They're my weeds. You're stepping on. So,
Well, I know a landscaper in that area you could get in touch with.
yeah, I know. I'm gonna till up everything, and I'm gonna make it wildflowers.
That's
Just
awesome.
cone flowers. Yeah, I just want to make it like a large wild area. I would like that if I could get away with it. We'll see what happens. So, anyhow, a little bit of good news. You guys are invited. Muncie, Indiana. There's a place for you.
We're making a TLC commune, everybody.
That's it. Bring a pillow.
You heard it from the hippie first.
That's it. That's it. So, with that, fellas, have a great evening, and don't you dare go hollow.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Good night. I'll see you.
No, I went the wrong way with that. Let's try that. So what about you, really? And do you find video games to be a generative exercise?
I mean, besides, this is more of a recent thing, and I'll probably drop it in a couple months, but it's like a come and go thing in my life. I'll have months where I don't touch it, and by it I mean like this or Civilization or something like that. And then months where I do, at the end of a night, choose to use this to relax. But I was never like I have friends who were video game guys, like, and good at them, but I was never, when all my friends were playing RuneScape or World of Warcraft or whatever, I was never like picking it up on this, like, I didn't have the knack for it that they had, you know. So I'm definitely not on that level.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too, because like it's not really a singular level. Like that's one of the things once you start learning about what ELO actually is and what, like how it's calculated and kind of what it implies. You can be decent at video games, like better than 50% of people, and still be like nowhere. Like you can't hold a candle to the people who are like actually good at a game.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's me with most things. Like above average at an extraordinary amount of things, and master at virtually nothing.
It's a good place to be in, though. It gives like having that kind of experience, I think, ends up being more useful, especially if you're able to kind of like cross-pollinate different skills between different domains. Like that's an incredibly powerful and underrated skill.
Yeah, I mean, I am able to also like not even out of putting on a different or I'm able to relate. I mean, that I guess what I'm trying to say is that same trait also applies to like interests. So like, I'll take a medium interest in a ton of things in like a tunnel vision interest, like intense focus, in not a lot. But it allows me to be able to like relate to people across the board. So it's like I could talk to someone about if someone's a sports guy, it's like I know plenty of sports references. If someone's like a theology, like again, I'm not going to be able to put the puzzle pieces together on the like or philosophy on like on the level of someone who's a scholar or an academic. But I can talk shop. I know enough to talk shop with, and I can talk shop across a lot of different shops. Is what I'm trying to say, which is nice. I mean, I would like to maybe like have a little more tunnel vision with certain things as I age, but I am able to talk shop with a lot of different people.
Yeah. Well, I think that ends up being more valuable too, because like, just in my personal experience, like, whenever you're trying to do harder things, like management of things or project management, stuff like that, like having that wider scope allows you to, and like it's partly the being able to relate to different people too, but it's like having an understanding enough to where it's like, oh, this person actually knows kind of what I do, and I can actually like talk to them at a level where they'll understand what it is that I'm saying, instead of me just talking to somebody who has no idea what I'm saying, and I just have to like make up enough things to get them to give me the things that I want and need to do my job properly.
Yeah.
And that's talking about it from a very like modern professional workplace sort of way, but I think that same thing ends up being true in any sort of like leadership scenario, any sort of like you're trying to help people to do things in a church setting, in a hobby setting, what have you.
Yep.
Because like, how are you gonna direct people to do things properly if you don't know what they do or how they do it? Like, it's not possible.
Right.
forget. I don't, have you had much experience with like leadership roles in church groups and stuff?
Yeah, but that was actually front loaded in my adulthood. It is
Okay.
since I've since faded into the background, but I had an intense period there when I was in my late teens, early and mid 20s,
Mhm.
where I was worship leading, youth pastoring,
Mhm.
um, all that stuff. But it was, yeah, it was, it's a long story. I'll put it that way. So I've since faded to the background, but I do, I do know that won't be forever.
Mhm. That you will be called back forward again at some point.
It seems to fit. I what I'll say is this is, I was, I think I was trying to manage via control, but not like in a tyrannical way, more of like in an anxious way,
Mm.
and striving for perfection and relying on my own strength. And so I am waiting. I'm waiting to feel some sort of call or pull that's beyond me,
Mhm.
before I jump into something again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
So
wise.
I mean, that was my issue. That was my issue in my early adulthood. Was, man, I was trying to do. I was doing everything I could
Mm.
to control things I just could not control.
Mhm.
It's like people are messy. Things are going to be messy. It's about managing that situation and not about getting everyone to be perfect. Like, good luck with that.
Yeah. You can try. Good luck.
Yeah. 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 I have so many crappy stories from when I was even like a manager. My college job was in custodial at a big church, and
Mhm.
I ended up being the what was my title? I don't know, but I was like the lead custodian, so I did the scheduling and the inspecting and I managed all the shift leads and all that stuff. And
Mhm.
anyway, I had some good moments and I had some bad moments.
I think it's important to have that kind of experience relatively early on, though. Like
Yeah,
I see a lot of people who will rail against their managers and be like, "Oh, this is so unfair. Like they don't know like what they're doing." And it's like you might need to walk a mile in their shoes before you can start saying some of those things.
for sure. And you know what? As I'm sitting here and you asked me that,
Mhm.
um, part of why I'm in the background is because all of my energy is as a husband and as a father.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, that's
Yep.
probably that's the biggest role I've had, and that has been the biggest lesson. Being married, as you know, it's like you just, yeah,
There's a
like
lot of things that you
you
don't know until you're in it.
I know, and like you're like wives have a unique way of being able to teach their husbands things
Mhm.
in a very feminine way,
Mhm.
and that's such a
It's a
gift.
blessing. Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
You don't necessarily think it is at the time sometimes, but it
right,
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So maybe that's why. I mean, I'm getting all these lessons from marriage and parenthood, and if
Mhm.
I they're like so valuable, I wouldn't have gotten them any other way.
No.
And so as soon as I can figure out how to not figure out, but I think that they will.
When the time comes, they
Yeah.
will the you'll be able to share that with the people that you're meant to share it with.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't have to figure out how to scale them. Like, they're so scalable. It's just like whenever the opportunity comes, like they just will scale. Like simple things like um, you cannot change anyone. You can't. You can, but there are tiny little manipulative tricks that you can use, and I don't mean tricks
Mhm.
in a bad way,
Mhm.
just to like influence that all involve you not all involved, but for me, I mean, the main ones have been like, I can like, it's almost like seed analogy. Like I can go plant seeds, but I can't, and I can even water and make sure they're in sun, I guess to some degree, but the growth, like that's entirely not up to me at all. And so it's like, I can control what I put in, but not what comes out, I guess. And so just, that lesson there is nice, but and it's rewarding too. Cause it's like, yeah, again, with my background that I gave there of my struggles in my late adult or early adulthood, early 20s, it's just such a nice lesson where it's like, oh, everything I was trying to do wasn't my job. No. All I can control is what I put in.
But it's so hard to know that in the moment. Like, you feel like, oh, especially I would imagine as a youth pastor, it's like, oh, it's my job to like help these kids to to find Jesus and to be good people to each other. And it's like, oh yeah, like the amount of control that you actually have over that is so limited.
I know.
They are going to do what they want.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
That's a great example because I was trying to, I was like, I almost had this like existential, this anxiety of like, how do I get these kids to be a certain way? And looking back, I'm like, man, if I could go back in time, it would just be to accept this is where they're at and try to give them as much good as I can give them, not to control, but like, hey, I think this would be good for you. Like, you actually need to know this. That's a perfect example.
Well, and the thing too with it is like, you're going to try and show them the right way, and they're going to trip and fall too, and so you have to have a pretty great degree of patience. Like, it's going to take a while for them to figure it out, and just because they trip and stumble doesn't mean that they're just unrecoverable, and it doesn't mean that you need to spiral out over whatever it is. And that's something like being married will absolutely teach you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I do wonder sometimes if that's part of the problem of like trying to put young men into leadership roles before they have had the opportunities to learn the lessons of marriage.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, it's like, yes, you're going to learn a ton and you're going to be better for it. But at the same time, it's like, man, you are throwing that poor boy to the wolves by doing that. Like, he's going to have a heck of a time. And especially if you don't have someone who can be a good mentor to you as you're going through that process of being a mentor to others. Like, yeah. Trying not to die this time. There we go. Better. Still need to pay attention and not get thrashed. There we go. What's one thing that, if not that you would necessarily go back and tell yourself when you were first starting out, but like if you had somebody else who was starting out, not having had any leadership experience prior to, what advice would you give them of like how to, like what to seek out or how to handle themselves or anything like that?
All right. So I'm going to repeat a story I heard that's involves people who I wouldn't even recommend anymore, probably. So I won't name names, but it's from my days in the charismatic church,
Mhm.
which which um, I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater there, which is why I like that Ron's around.
Mhm.
But there was like this famous traveling prophet guy, and he was known for woo stuff and miracles and prophetic words and knowing things and et cetera, et cetera. And there was this young youth pastor who's now a pretty well-known mega-ish church pastor in Sacramento, where PBK is. So PBK will know who it is.
Mhm.
And so, but at this time, he was like a young, ambitious youth pastor, and the traveling prophet was rolling through town. And I remember he shared this story when I was out there in a sermon, and he asked the traveling prophet. He said, if you could give one piece of advice to a young youth minister, what would it be? And the old guy was like, before you get to the inner place of anointing, take time to die on the outside. Which is a reference to like the Old Testament. And you would, anyone who went to the Holy of Holies besides the high priest would die.
Mhm.
And in the charismatic renewal movements, they're big on like seeking the higher things and the anointing of God, and higher spiritual encounters and powers, etc. Ron could starman it better than I can now, but basically, like, if you're, to whatever degree your ambitions are good,
Mhm.
have good in them, they're only going to not destroy you and other people if you recognize that you have plenty of crap you need to shed.
Mhm.
And that, like, key to your success is letting the crap parts of you die off, which life will bring. God will bring. Like, he will bring the suffering and the challenges you need to, like, let the weak and wimpy parts of you die off. Like, that, it's not a question of if that'll happen. It's just if you allow them.
Mhm.
So that would be that's the one thing that comes to mind, and it definitely rings true from when I think back. Like, I just needed to relax, and like let what was right in front of me happen, because everything I needed was right there.
Mhm.
So
Even if you couldn't see it at the time.
yeah, right. I was extremely restless.
Extremely restless, extremely reformed.
I've never been extremely reformed. Never that. But I was young and restless. That's for sure. That's for certain.
Mhm.
The young, restless, and reformed mantra has always been funny to me, because, like, they love Augustine, and one of his famous lines is, "Our hearts are restless, O Lord, until they find their rest in Thee."
Mhm.
So I always felt the young, restless, and reformed mantra hilarious.
Because they have not found their rest in God.
like they're sort of giving away the maybe the flaw of the movement.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that was deliberate, or if that was just...
No, I mean, I'm pretty Pajot pilled on names. Like, I think names have us and happen more than we actually choose names.
Mm-hmm. The law
So,
chooses the wisdom of Mr. Potter.
This isn't to crap on Reformed at all.
Mm.
But I mean, anyone who, even my Reformed buddies like Matt C and McMo and those guys, they could look at the young, restless, and Reformed movement and kind of know what I'm talking about. Like, there was a sort of angstiness to it.
Mm-hmm. Like, to an unhealthy degree, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, here's one for you. What are your thoughts on what's going on with Venezuela and Maduro?
Man, I've been talking
Just
about it
lob a
all
grenade.
day. I've been talking about it all day across different chats and voice chats and streams and all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Like okay. I mean, I have a couple thoughts. I don't think I know enough to have an opinion. I would probably value your opinion. I definitely would value your opinion over mine.
Oh,
Um,
I'm right there with you on that one. Is like, whatever opinion I have, I am woefully uninformed, and also like, what the fuck am I gonna do about it?
yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, but the initial reaction among um, folks who might find themselves left leaning,
Mhm.
I I felt like I was going a little crazy because I'm like, am I the only one who remembers the Obama era Department of Defense? Like,
Mhm.
at least this is out in the open. Number one, you're
Mhm.
not just like a little blip on the ticker on the ticker tape or whatever that thing's called of CNN.
Mhm.
And so that was one thing, and then what was the other thing? And then there were interesting discussions. I mean, one of the interesting things I thought about is, okay, like let's take patriotism as a good thing for granted, of like loving your country or your place regardless of who's in charge, or like you're just like, I identify with this place, I am an American, I love America. um I want it to prosper, I want it to do well, I want it to be a beautiful place.
Mhm.
And then point number two would be like, let's just say that empire is a human, or it is almost like a universal, like some place somewhere is going to have the mantle at some point.
Mhm.
All right. And so what do you do when your place, the thing you love, is the empire, right?
Mhm.
Because some of my favorite English uh, 18th and 19th century writers didn't love all the aspects of the British colonial empire. Like,
Mhm.
if they could have gone and visited Jamaica, they probably would have been like, this is a horror fest. Like, this is not good.
Mhm.
But they also weren't just like saying this whole thing is evil, burn it to the ground.
Mhm.
Um, you know, and so yeah, that was my question. It just got me thinking of empire. Like, is empire in and of itself bad? Yeah,
Mhm.
obviously everyone agrees like it needs to be critiqued. But how do you love the country? Do you love the country, hate the empire? Do you love the country, criticize the empire? Because you also have to keep in mind all the anti-empire people. It's like there is a small degree to which, and I know it's gotten out of hand
Mhm.
because it's not like the benefits have trickled down, but there's a small degree to which the American empire has kept the bad guys away.
Mhm.
Like
Well.
the Venezuela move, what got me thinking, like, maybe like China came out and was just like, we are appalled at that. It's like, okay, China, like, we get it. Like, you don't like this move, and it's not for moral reasons, you know. So anyway, that's a machine gun of thoughts.
Yeah, China decrying it is very much more of a how does it go? Like, when uh, you are in power, I hold you to your standards because that is what benefits me.
Yeah,
When I am in power, then I abuse you by my standards because that's what benefits me. Something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's all I see from China as far as that goes. They are guilty of far worse atrocities than anything that we have done, as far as I'm aware. And like, that's not to say that we haven't had our own fair share of nonsense, but we seem to be a little bit less on the terrible scale, all things considered, from what I
right.
can tell. And who
Yeah,
knows?
do,
I might be
do
in a
the
bubble.
Chinese people? Yeah, I do the Chinese people in Beijing like go out on the streets and protest when they find out about the Uyghurs?
No.
Like, I don't think they do. So like at least America has a self-critical, like a self-critique mechanism.
Yep.
So yeah, but whether or not it was like overreach or necessary, I have no idea, and I'm not sure anyone else does.
Well, the main thing that bugs me about it is I'm fairly certain that we did it for crappy reasons. Like,
Mm,
all things considered, it seems like the main reason that we did another regime change is because Venezuela was participating in the threatening of the petrodollar. That they were going to try
okay.
and sell their oil in currencies other than the dollar, which Russia has already been doing and we've not been very happy about, and China's been trying to do, which we are not happy about. But
Yeah.
it's a lot harder for us to go up in a direct conflict against Russia or China, considering they also have nukes, and so we end up resorting to proxy wars like Ukraine, and so, yeah.
Yeah.
Slack in the comments. China should indict our head of state and come and take him. There's precedent in international law now.
Yeah.
And it is to a degree, it's just power politics. And
Right.
the really hard part about it for me too is like you have a lot of people from South America who are celebrating this. Both Venezuelans and I think Argentinians was the other one that I saw was like people saying like, "Hey, like thank God he's no longer in power." But what I think
Right.
a lot of that ends up missing is very, very often when you depose an autocrat, that what ends up happening is a whole bunch of not slumlords, warlords. A whole bunch of warlords are the ones who take power, and so then you just have the same terrible conditions, just with lots more people all vying for power and authority, and then the like fighting and killing gets worse as a consequence of it. So
Yeah.
like it's the same deal that happened with Gaddafi in Libya, where it's like, oh yeah, thank God we liberated the Libyans by taking out their autocratic leader, and then followed by decades of garbage because
Mm-hmm.
now it's just warlords all vying for power instead of one autocrat maintaining an iron-fisted grip over everyone. And that's not to say that like the autocrat maintaining an iron-fisted grip isn't a good thing, but it might
Yeah.
be preferable to the kind of chaos that comes out as a consequence of removing him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to actually like talk about that as a nuanced take, because most people want just like, no, you just have to condemn them, like it's bad.
Right.
And it's like, yes, it is bad, but also there might be worse things in the world than the bad things.
Yes. And also, if all of a sudden, like you're, with all due respect to our aunts or our grandmas or your uncle for that sake, if you hear at the next family gathering, did you hear about what this bad dictator's doing? It's like, there's a reason that news has gotten to them.
Mhm.
And it's probably not pure benevolence, or it's probably not pure like we want people to know the truth. Like they want you to know a specific narrative,
Yes.
right, about how bad this person is, so that they can carry out their regime change. Which again, there are levels to this stuff. Their regime change or whatever strategic point or resource they want to maintain. It could be so that the other empire, who we don't want, could not get it. Like, so this is all messy. So I'm not saying like it's good or bad, but there usually are multiple levels of analysis towards. It's not easy to say this thing was good or this thing was bad.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I think it was like kidnapping the leader of a sovereign nation is an act of war, and you should not
Right.
be able to just like waltz in and then kidnap him and do like that should require
Yeah,
a declaration of war from Congress. The fact that the executive branch is willing and able to do that and like not really face any consequences, like that's not okay.
Yeah. Right.
But also
Right.
like what do you want me to do about that? Like you're like I'm not getting what I voted for, but
Yes.
what the fuck am I supposed to do about it other than like
I know.
angrily post about it on Twitter or retweet and like larger creators who will have some potential of like rallying something like what's the goal? What's the goal with trying to do that kind of thing, say that kind of stuff? I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and yeah, when I bring up like Obama drone strikes or something, it's not to say, therefore, this is.
But what about this?
This is
yeah.
just right. It's not to justify this. It's more of like, I have a very difficult time paying attention to the outrage.
Yep.
If it hasn't been consistent.
Yep.
And so it's like principled outrage, I'm actually okay with, and there are a couple people who are principled in their protest. Like I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but in general, it's a lot of like what my latest team, the news story that's pumping through. Again, I'm not saying like that's right or wrong because I agree with your points. Like it's pretty absurd that can be unilaterally decided, but unfortunately, and it's more. I don't know if it's better or worse that it's more kind of out loud now, because again, this stuff like this, maybe it's because Venezuela wasn't quite like the armpit of the world, right? Where like this stuff has been happening like in the, I don't mean armpit in a bad way, I just mean like places that don't get attention.
Yep.
But things like this have been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like this have happened in places that don't get attention for the last, 50 years?
Try thousands. Like
Yeah, right. Right.
Like it definitely is different when you have like a modern media landscape that you're talking about, but the level of like we're going to try and control information and make it so that this backwater town, like there's been massacres throughout history where it's like, okay, we're going to try and sorry, one second. We're going to try and set things up such that this group of people don't find out about this thing until later on, and then there's been a decision that's been made, or... Damn. Yeah. It's not a new phenomenon, it's just new technology executing on the same information control.
Yep.
Sorry, that was like a very wide tangent on your original point, though, of like...
Yeah.
What was it that you were trying to get at again?
At the very beginning?
Yeah, what was it? I'm trying to remember.
Now I'm trying to think too. I don't know. I had a bunch of machine gun points I threw out.
Mm-hmm. Well, specifically trying not to die at the same time as I'm trying to think, and it's not working.
Yeah. Oh, I get it, man. I get it.
Oh, man.
That's the reason for my silent moments too. Is a quick moment of focus.
Mm-hmm. I've got Catan to focus on.
I know. It's a few different expansions thrown in here, so I'm not a complete dummy who needs time to think for a 30-minute game. These are more like 50 to 60.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to bing off of what Slack's saying about CIA-backed junta, it's like we didn't just get in there. Like, the fact that we took no casualties means that we had plenty of people on the inside. There were plenty of people
Yeah.
who wanted him gone too, and who let us. Who, like, don't tell anybody, but we're
Yeah.
gonna leave the back door open. Like,
Yeah.
so the question then becomes, what elements of the current Maduro regime are the ones that are going to be the CI-backed new government that step in and take
Right.
control of things?
Yeah, you reminded me that the other thing I thought throughout the day is I did remember still during the Biden administration, the Biden administration formally condemned, or didn't they formally stated that the Maduro election was illegitimate. And so when everyone was just like, democracy, elected leaders, I was like, pause. The first time I heard this guy was not legitimate was from the Biden admin. Again, everything else aside, but the narrative that I instantly heard from certain people who, you might understand as well, I was just like, from your own, from the previous regime, they condemned this fella. So I'm pretty sure that the same deep state operated by both parties was okay with this.
Oh, yeah.
This is a bipartisan move.
This was about the petrodollar. This wasn't about Trump specifically making a decision. Like, this probably, I don't know if this would have necessarily happened under Democratic leadership, or because it seems like there's like two different factions ish who have like different priorities of who to target, and they just take turns of like which targets they're going to hit between different election cycles. Yeah. So maybe it wouldn't have happened under a Kamala Harris presidency, but it probably would have happened under like whichever next Republican would have been coming in. Like, this isn't a Trump specific thing. This is a uniparty thing from what I can tell.
Yeah. And I haven't paid much attention. I have this pretty nice app that has actually gotten me off Twitter for the most part, because I have to like take 10 seconds to pause, and just that pause is enough for me to go, nah, I don't want to get on that bad.
Do I really want to do this?
Which is how I was monitoring. It really, like, that pause is still worth it for me for YouTube from time to time, but whatever it is about Twitter, I'm just like, nah, I'm good. But anyway, because of that, I have not, I haven't seen any major big players have commented. If I had to guess, I'm guessing it's pretty bipartisan, but if there are any condemnation, it might be from like the populist left, like the AOC Bernie Mamdani crowd, and not from the Chuck Schumer crowd, but I'm not totally certain on that.
Yeah, I haven't.
But
I don't really follow many politician accounts as far as that stuff goes, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that was a little surprising to me was Daryl Cooper, like, not necessarily coming down in support of Trump doing this, but basically being like, power politics gonna power politic. I'm like, yeah. But like, if you're gonna make a comment about it, you could at least say like, yeah, this might not be the best approach.
Yeah.
Because most other folks, like Orrin McIntyre, I think, had a decent take. Spoon, the aristocratic utensil, had a decent take. Like, I think most people are like, yeah, this is fucked up. Like, this is just clearly a brazen petrodollar move. Like, using the... it's just using the drug trafficking as the casus belli for doing this kind of nonsense. But that's not actually even the reason for it. It's like, it's very much petrodollar related, is what it seems to be.
Yeah. And would the strikes of the previous couple months, do you think that was kind of narrative building partially for
I think that's what that
this?
Was.
Okay. Yeah.
And I could be wrong on that, but just like trying to
well, I
make
guess
sense of it the best that I can. Like that's what it looks like to me.
that would be like narrative building and also like message sending of like, hey,
We're building up to
you can
this.
yes, like
Yeah.
you change your tune. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's like saying the shit lib Dems are condemning it, but only in the they didn't do it right rather than this is wrong sort of a way.
Right, right. Yeah, they need to do it how they did it, the honorable way of the Obama years.
Of Hillary Clinton having Gaddafi assassinated in Libya kind of thing.
Yes. At least she had class.
At least we had class. At least we had wasn't Slack is gonna have to check me on this. I think there was like a Goonswarm Federation person in the embassy there at the time too, which was just like one of those wild. Like, I don't know what to make of it kind of things, as far as internet history intersecting with real life stuff. Focus testing. Will they revolt over the boat strikes? If not, let's see what we can get away with. I don't know if it was so much that like the people revolting though. I think it's more like, are there other elements within the regime who would be willing to depose, given that that's like what the situation is. And yes, I was correct. Vile Rat was the name of the Goonswarm guy in the Libyan embassy that got killed.
There's a command center downstairs. I'm hoping to find information about generator locations. Ready? Let's go.
But yeah, like, it's also my frustration too of like people like, oh, like you say no new wars, but like all this stuff's going on. And it's like, yeah, because that's what I want, and this seemed like the only way I could get it, and it turns out that nope, the neoliberal establishment has their hooks in everyone and everything, and no matter who you vote for, you're still going to just get war and garbage, and congratulations. And like, what do you even do at this point, right? Like, how do you even try and... How do you vote? How do you compose yourself as a citizen? Like, the only thing that I can think of is like how can you set yourself and your family up for success and like render unto Caesar what is Caesar's while rendering unto God what's God's. Yeah.
Luke calls that anarchism, but I hate that he uses the word anarchism because to me anarchism means like Antifa, you know. Like to me, like it's the Joker. So, but basically, what Luke means is exactly what you said. Like, don't pay attention or trust in anything beyond your locality. If you want, maybe you get excellent at what you're at. It'll get you into state. Some important state building or federal building, but don't focus on that too much. Focus on your family. I'm like, bro, I feel like that's just called being a good citizen.
Yep.
I don't call that anarchism.
Well, I think that I can understand that it's anarchism in the sense of like, you're not making the governance the focus. But even then, like, it's, you still want to have some structure, and you're still maybe not respecting the authority of the structure, but you are at least willing to play along with it because you understand that not doing so is a worse proposition than doing so.
Yeah.
And that's the really hard thing is like, okay, like I know that this person is like, if you have like a drug kingpin who is ruling over your neighborhood, it's like, yeah, this person is a terrible person and is like killing people in the neighborhood and is like pushing drugs on people. And it's like, none of this is good. But also, if he were to just be removed outright without other proper order being able to step in, then what are you going to be left with? 5 other
Yeah.
drug lords who are now going to step in and are now vying for territory, and they're going to be the ones who are going to just make everyone's life a living hell, because it's not just one person imposing their authority, it's 5 people vying for authority and using everyone else around them as pawns in their games to try and gain that authority.
Yep.
And so like I don't even know if that's necessarily like an approved Christian position, but it's just like, I feel like a lot of times yep, I understand that we're in a crappy position, we're in a crappy situation, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just be a good person and not contribute to it, not feed into whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But that's not a satisfying enough answer for some people. It's like, no, you have to resist, you have to rebel, and it's like, yeah, but what's that actually going to do? What's that actually going to do?
Yeah. 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 Your attention's valuable. It's not worth spending on international geopolitics unless you're like 1 in a million people who actually needs to do that for their job.
Well, I think it's valuable insofar as like you need to be aware of potential tidal waves coming. Like you don't want to get,
Sure.
especially if you are the person in charge of your family, like you don't want your family to get caught off guard by some kind of craziness. Like if you are living in Venezuela, you probably should be aware of what's going on in terms of the United States attacking the speedboats out of it, because that might mean that there's regime change coming down the pipeline for you.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm living in a Russian suburb in 1916, I'm going to pay attention to what's going down in St. Pete or Moscow, because I might need to get out of Dodge. You know, but that's just an extreme example of like I do think there's a healthy amount, or as long as you have prudence and humility, it is okay to monitor the situation, as they say.
But you shouldn't let your monitoring the situation turn into you devoting all of your time and attention to the detriment of your other responsibilities. And that's where I think a lot of people get hung up and get in trouble.
Yep.
And yeah, I just have no idea, like, as a individual citizen, Gaza is the single most important issue to Slack's family. Yeah. That's what you should be caring the most about. But, like, genuinely, like, I don't know what's the answer here? Like, how should you spend your time relative to, like, these large-scale issues? Because it is a catastrophe when you have genocides happening, regardless of whether they're in Gaza or Rwanda or any of the other numerous genocides that have happened that have been largely ignored, like, because they're in, pardon the term, but like shithole countries that nobody cares about, or at least nobody in like political power in the United States cares about. Like, they're not. You're gonna send maybe like UN peacekeepers or something, but like beyond that, and even then, it's really just to make sure that no high-value individuals, like ambassadors or whatever, end up getting toasted by people who don't know the rules of the game. That you're not supposed to touch those people, because if you do, then you're going to get schwacked, and you and your whole family are going to get schwacked, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think part of the post-war consensus after World War II was that that wherever there was terrible things happening, like happened in Nazi Germany, that America was going to be the vanguard of liberty, and the vanguard of, or in the the defender of liberty, and the
Well, at least that we were going to claim that we were going to be that.
right. We were going to take our "don't tread on me" attitude and scale it globally. Of like, anyone who's treading on anyone, like that was the idea, right? That was the brand that was sold to the people, and then the news could, again, they could sell it by saying, "Hey, look at this bad thing happening here. Obviously, we've got to go there," right? That was the Afghanistan and Iraq branding.
Yep.
But now that's breaking down, because I hope at least people you and I know are highly aware of like that filtration system that does the framing of like, hey, look at this tyranny. We've got to go. We've got to go do our thing.
Like jingling keys in front of a toddler. Look here.
Yeah.
This is the atrocity that you need to be paying attention to.
Right. We're just realizing like, oh, that usually is not as black and white as 1940s Germany.
No.
Right. And also, like even with World War II, right? Like, and this is something Pedro's pointed out, like with our post-war narrative, like we had to sort of paint over the fact that, at least early on, that we had with the Reds to take them out. And the Reds had more blood on their hands than the Germans, right? And
can you say that again? You were roboting a little bit.
Russia took out. Yeah, my reception got bad here for a second.
Russia took out.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Yeah, Russia took out way more of their own people than Germany did.
Yep.
Now, again, they had a lot more, but still, the numbers they weren't really close. And so, even with our post-war narrative, like if you were to actually, like, as silly as this sound, like break it down on the spreadsheet, it doesn't fit as nicely into a black and white. We are the good guys won, the bad guys lost, as we think, right? And I'm not making a Fuentes point here. Don't worry. I mean, in order to win that good bad battle.
Like, genuinely, like, if somebody wanted to come on and like make arguments about certain things, like, I would be actually curious to hear them out, rather than like. I feel like that's part of the problem of why somebody like Fuentes gets so much, like, popularity, is because it's like, if you just shut down and you use ad hominems all the time, then like you're not actually going to understand the substance of what somebody's trying to get the point across of, and like,
yes,
maybe they are just being a troll, maybe they are just, and like maybe that is the conclusion that you come to, but just relying on the ad hominems that other people are throwing at a particular individual, I don't think is a very good strategy. It seems to be the one that we've kind of just defaulted to.
Yeah, I know, and it's like, because I have people close to me who enjoy listening to all the figures you're not supposed to listen to, right? Like Candy Cane Owens and T-Tuck and all those homies. And but what I noticed is, like, I know there's certain people that I could never even mention that to them, because they, like, their whole worldview relies on just dismissing all of that. In dismissing any conspiracy theory. Like, if the news says this is a conspiracy theory, they're able to like laugh at it and go, ha ha ha, that's so dumb. It's like you just can't live your life like that. Like, even the people you despise, or you think they're a troll, or you think they're up to no good, or they're a grifter, it's like, if they have an audience, that means there's a small thing in there you've got to like understand. And especially if it's someone that you despise and sort of hate watch or pay attention to, or like use as a reference point for someone who's a deplorable. It's like, that's probably your own shadow, and you got to figure out a way to understand it and integrate it to some small degree, or it's going to get your ass.
Yep. Well, especially like 90% of what they're saying might be wrong and bullshit, but if you can't adequately counter the 10% that isn't, then that's what's giving them an audience. That's what's making people
Exactly.
believe what they have to say. Believe the 90% is because it's like, oh, well, if they're lying to me about this 10%, then what other parts of it are accurate that they are going to give me that I'm not going to get from the mainstream news or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And on that note, I mean, there's tons of part of the reason why the narrative is breaking down of like we were the defenders of liberty and the protectors of democracy and the destroyers of tyranny is like there were tons of atrocities that we now again you have to pick your battles, right? Like everyone can't do everything, but I think people are honestly it's probably swinging a little bit too cynical. Like I do think there's a significant degree to which like the American Empire did hold back baddies. Like I'm glad the commies didn't take over the world.
Yep.
Personally, but the narrative is now being doubted as being as black and white or smooth or something that, yeah, and and then when all the elites are using the narrative or the again all that branding I just laid out to benefit themselves more so than actually performing what they say they're doing, I think that's when the people are just like, again, they're gonna be extreme about it, but they're gonna say like it's all bullshit, which I don't agree with. I don't think it's all bullshit, but the reason why they're saying that is because you've messed up. Like things have gone wrong.
Yep. Which, by the way, there's a guy who I came across relatively recently. He's a guy who emigrated from Russia, and it seems. Hang on, can I pull this? One of his points was that the point of propaganda is not to convince you. The point of propaganda is to make you believe that that you are alone is one of the points. There's a lot going on with it that they made the point of, but it's not just we're trying to convince you.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I'll have to see if I can.
Yeah.
I think I linked it in one of the spots in the Broken Clock Tower. Yeah, that's a mistake that a lot of Western audiences make, is that they have this impression. Did she just disappear? She did. That propaganda is trying to convince people, and it's like, no, it's trying to demoralize you. It's trying to exhaust you. It's trying to make it so that because everything that you're hearing is not true, that you just give up on trying to make sense of what is true, what could be true. And that's the real point, is to make you just doubt everything about like how you're making sense of reality.
Yeah.
Because then you can't resist. Then you are if you can't form a coherent understanding of reality, then how are you going to be able to actually put up a fight against anyone or anything? SLAC misses the viable opposition of global communism, which actually forced labor concessions in the U.S. to prevent the takeover. Now it's corporate or nothing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't...
Yeah, I mean, that's your point.
Yeah. I wish I had a better answer of like, hey, here... Rather than relying on... you have to have, like, multipolar world in order for any sort of fairness to be available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, but it's getting late for me. I'm going to bounce, but I appreciate you letting me come and hang out.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. All right, I'll see you later, man.
Sounds good, Julian. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Actually, we're at about the 2-hour mark, and I'm getting a little tired too. So, Slack, you have any final words of wisdom for us? I'll wait the requisite 25 seconds or whatever for this to actually get out to the stream, and I can read your chat. Otherwise, I'm probably going to close it down. Oh, that's where I'm supposed to go. Okay. Because Kelly needs a walk. The dude abides. Indeed he does. Well, you know what you should do? Everyone should go out and become a card-carrying member of the Church of the Subgenius. I'm completely joking about that, by the way. But I do find the notion of Slack and how that potentially ties in of like, be good in producing value for your family and your loved ones, and don't feel compelled to maintain value for, or to create value for people who don't give a shit about you. Like, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, but give unto God what is God's. Don't give unto Caesar what is God's. I guess that'll be what to leave you guys with. So, with that, goodbye then. Be safe, friends. Don't you dare go hollow.